Alright guys, so today we're at Callaway's fitting center. This place is already epic. I mean, you could just see the range behind me. I mean, the thing is just, it looks amazing. But it's kind of hidden. It was kind of hard finding this place. It's up here in Carlsbad, so it's in our backyard, but it was still not easy to find. Just the way they like to keep it. It's behind a guarded gate. It's pretty intense. But you guys can see the whole center back there. They do putter fittings back there, and then they have some other R&D type stuff that goes on in there. But we're gonna be right back here. You guys can see those couple tents down there where Coach probably is. And we're gonna be doing a fitting today for full bag set, woods, irons, wedges. And I don't know if we're doing putter or not, but we'll see. And we're gonna run you guys through it. We're gonna show you the numbers, and we're gonna film our fittings individually so you guys can see my fitting, Mike's fitting, and see what we end up with. And then eventually we're gonna release a part 2 video once we get the clubs and walk you guys through what we decided on. So guys, I'm gonna introduce you to Nick right here. He's gonna be fitting Mike today. Nick, what's going on, man? How we doing?
Great day. Good so far, unless you guys ruin it.
Hopefully not. Mike's gonna start with his warm up here, and then we're going to woods, right?
Yeah, Mike wants to hit the woods first. I think I overheard him say he gets worn out on irons when he gets fit, and then by the time he gets to the woods, he's got no juice left. So
there we go.
We'll try a couple drivers first, take a look at the through, and then we'll back down into the irons. And he wants to try a utility iron too, so we're going to try a number of things. But we'll start with the woods and see what kind of game this young man has here.
We got some wind out here in our face, but that's why I use the TrackMan. Just gives you all the numbers that you need. It's playing a little buttery draw out there.
Just the nature. Every player I get in here, even it doesn't really matter skill level. I mean, amateurs, pros, work with a lot of tour pros down here, and they all have certain strengths and weaknesses based on what their swing pattern is. And usually, there's no swing that hits everything great because as much as people, you know, a lot of your buddies or maybe some instructors will tell you this: if you learn the swing with one club, that it's essentially the same type of swing throughout the bag, but that can only be considered true in terms of the sequencing of the swing. In other words, everything kind of happens in the same order, but dynamically in impact, the angles you should deliver with each club vary pretty dramatically through the bag. The most optimum angle to swing a driver toward the ball at impact is significantly different than the most optimum angle to swing a wedge. And so what I try to explain to a lot of the amateurs is that one of the objective measurable differences between an amateur and a pro is that pros, through intuition or practice or whatever, however they've done it, they've learned how to go through the bag and make the same sequence swing, but change the attack angle throughout the bag to suit the club that's in their hands at that particular time. And that's not an easy thing to do. But you'll see their angles are really good and they change just the right amount. So they'll come in -7 degrees angle of attack with a 9 iron, and then they'll come -5 with a 7 iron, and then by the time they get the 3-wood off the ground, they're like right at 0 or -1, and then driver, they're pretty level. And so because they can change that angle, the angle the club approaches the ball throughout the bag, they can optimize what that club was designed to do. So if you look at amateurs will typically come in and they're going to do one thing or the other more often than not. In other words, you get an amateur and he's going to be pretty steep all the time. So he takes a wedge, hits a wedge pretty good, goes down, takes a pretty deep divot, leans the handle forward, steep angle of attack, but he's got loft, so it launches up in the air and spins. He compresses the ball good. So he's a good short iron player. He's a strong grip, forward handle, hit down on it. But by the time you give him a low lofted driver or a 3 iron to hit off the ground, he doesn't like that at all, right? Because there's not much loft left at impact. So that's not familiar.
Sounds very familiar.
Now there's the other guy too, though. There's the other guy that would love to hit a short iron like you, but can't because he's kind of a scooper. He comes in pretty shallow to it. So when he comes in shallow and scoops at a short iron, doesn't have a very good penetrating flight, kind of bloops it up in the air, hits a bottle rocket, doesn't control his distances very well. But if you give him a 3 iron, you need to have him hit over a tree, he can do that. You know, he can take a driver with low loft, tee it up high, and hit it on the upswing. He can launch it high with low spin, so he's efficient there. So if I see a guy make 3 swings and I see a really shallow angle of attack, I go, well, you must like your drivers and your long stuff. They go, oh yeah, I drive the ball great, but I just can't compress the iron, or I can't hit crisp shots with the iron. And the other type of guy, a guy more like you, it's comes in, I love my short irons, right? Well, just looking at you hit the ball, it's like, yeah, of course you put a really efficient impact on a short iron and flight it really well, but then the longer stuff is more difficult. So the biggest challenge for amateurs is to learn how to take their swing and dynamically adjust it so that it delivers optimum angles throughout the bag, so they can make their game more rounded, hit really good optimal shots with each club. And that takes some practice. It's hard to do, but the first step is actually learning what those angles are and seeing what kind of changes you need to make. And then how you should set up the clubs, right? So that's why you're here, right? So like you said, I need something that helps you get up in the air, if it's shaft or head or whatever we have to do, because I didn't hit it low. So you obviously don't want to ignore the equipment part of it, because the equipment can play a pretty significant role as well. So.
on a string.
I like the fact that
So the good news on mine is that mine's coming off the face pretty fast. So you're averaging 157 in terms of the ball speed off the club face of your current driver. And then I'm getting 159, so that's good. But I like the numbers you're getting with yours better in terms of trajectory. You're getting 12 at 2500, which is better than mine. Mine's 10 at 1800. So it's launching a little bit flat. Like, you can mix and match launch and spin. Like, if you launch it at 10, you probably need around 26, 2700. And if you can launch it at 14, you can drop the spin down to around 2000. Don't want it much lower than that. But you've got a little bit low with both. You've got a low launch and a low spin, and I don't want to mix. I don't want those, mixed together. What ends up happening when that happens, when you get low launch and low spin, is there's certain situations where that's helpful. I mean, into the wind, it's probably helpful. And if it's dry, the ball will land and it'll hit and it'll roll. But usually, what you're going to do is you end up trading carry for roll, which we don't want to do. There might be some places in the world that would work, but in San Diego, that's not great. You want to maximize carry, and then if you can get roll on top of that, that's really where the priorities are. So yours, we need to get that launch angle up a degree or two and get that spin up about, not crazy. I mean, I don't want 1,000 RPMs, but I want another 300 or 400 probably.
Okay.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is add a little change the settings on the driver. This one's got the this is Sub-Zero with the heavy screw forward, which tends to be the low spin setting. So I'm just gonna put the heavy screw on the back and try a couple just to see what that does to my launch and spin. And I probably end up adding a degree of loft.
not necessarily. That's where
it's weird. So I think it's one of those things where it triggers a reaction on your part. Like you make your natural swing, it goes high right. Then you try to correct your path a little bit, and it still kind of goes high right. Face is open. Then you go, okay, not this, not again, and you snap the face shot, hit it off the toe. And then the next one is kind of low left. It's like you're chasing it around trying to make that thing work, and it just tells me that the club, the shaft isn't synced up to your natural timing. And that's really where the difference of club head fitting versus shaft fitting comes in, because you get guys on the internet that have these arguments about shaft being the engine, no, the head's more important. They're both important, they're just important for different reasons.
Yeah, I felt like I was forcing this shaft more than the first shaft that you fit me for.
Just trying to find it.
Yeah, I was just trying to find the groove with it, and it just didn't feel right.
So I think the Atlas is the way to go. That you picked up immediately.
So can we put that back in the shaft with the second setting, I think, that you fixed up for me?
Yeah, which is the same setting. So we have
I think we're getting dialed in.
Yeah, so we like the black Atmos 6X, and we like the Sub-Zero 10.5 neutral lie stated loft with the heavy screw on the back, because the heavy screw on the front launched and spun too low. At least a good thing now, even though you're not scoring up the face.
I feel like it's harder for me to turn this one over than the other two.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That you could work on that would make you an absolute ace, because you're able to deliver really, really level upward attack angles. Would be continuing just to make sure that path doesn't get too far from the inside, because that's where you start going awry. Everything else looks really good though. I thought with a stronger grip that you'd put the handle more forward and hit down on it more, but you don't. You actually come in really level with the driver attack angle, so that's good. I mean, the stronger grip de-lofts it a little bit, because you've got to put the handle forward with a stronger grip to keep the face square, but your attack angle is nice. And something about this one is with this shaft, you put the ball in the center of the face really often too.
Is there a setting that I can maybe adjust to make it less of a fade?
Yes, there is. The only setting that was left happened to be anti-fade.
All right.
If you had said anything else, I would have said.
It's a moment of truth right here.
I know. I feel like this is the one.
So this will be a good
So
shot.
the only thing that when we
felt good.
yeah, that was good. When we put the lie angle up a little bit, there's two things going to happen. That will change start direction a little. All things being equal, I always have to say that. It will create more draw spin. So there's a little bit of both. It doesn't just start it more left or create more draw. It's gonna, when you tilt the face angle like that, more upright, it'll do just a little bit of both.
I caught that a little low on the face, but
that launch angle drops because when you hit it thin, right, the head goes like that.
Right.
So you hit it thin, the head goes like that, so that lowers the launch angle and it revs the spin up. So the head face is moving this way, right? So think about teeth, right, and gears, right? So the face goes like that, gets the whole spinning. So it goes to 7 to 3,000. That gives you a 256 carry, whereas you look down here like 266 carry, you know, or 268 carry, where you have the higher launch, the 11.8 with the lower spin. 11.8 to 2600 goes, you know, almost 270 in here, and this one's like 3,000.
Oh man, it's going great. Wearing me down with all these driver swings, but I think we're almost dialed into the right exact driver that we're going with. It's the Sub-Zero 10.5. It's got kind of a mid-stiff shaft, so it's helping me get the ball up in the air a little bit better. And it's the Fujikura Atmos X, so it feels good, and he's going to try and fit me for a 3-wood right now.
Nice, nice. What's your current 3-wood gamer?
I've got the high launch TaylorMade M2. I think, let's see what shaft I got. I've got the Kura Cage currently. 16.5 inches or 16.5 degrees. It's the high launch, so helps me get the ball up in the air a little bit, but creates a little bit more spin than I would like. So we're trying to get that dialed in and make sure that the spin rate's good with the 3-wood also.
What do you normally do with your 3-wood? Do you hit it off the fairway mostly into par 5s? Do you hit off the tee? What's your theories behind that?
A little bit of both. It's my kind of 250, 255 range club. I play a nice little draw with it. It's kind of a high launch with a high spin, so I'm able to kind of drop it in on a par 5 if I need to. But for the most part, I just kind of mix it up as, if I've got a good line in the fairway, I'll hit it off that also.
And Nick, what are we thinking for a 3-wood here to start?
Well, his club, I mean, he wanted a club that he could hit off the ground, a 3-wood that he could hit off the ground, and that one it's a high launch type 3-wood, which means it has more loft than a standard 3-wood. So, and it does launch it. It launches it really nice, but it does have some spin. I mean, it's spinning at about 4,500 RPM. So my thought would be, if I could improve on it at all, it would be trying to keep the launch angle kind of the same, but trying to get that spin down in the 3,000 somewhere. That would be my goal. So I've got a couple clubs out of my tour bag where I'm going to try to do that, but we won't know until he hits them. I've got a 5-wood that's a Sub-Zero, so it's got loft, but it's supposed to be a low spin version of the fairwood, right? And then I've got 2 of these. Might have to see if you can get these. These might be tour only, but this is 16.5. So it's kind of right in between a 5-wood and a 3-wood. So.
Tour only. You got? Do you know anybody at Callaway?
I don't know anybody here.
AJ runs the joint over there.
So this is the actual 5-wood?
That is, well, there's 2 versions. There's a standard 5-wood, which I think would probably just launch it straight up in the air and spin it. That's the Sub-Zero 3-wood, or 5-wood, which is supposed to spin it less.
Okay.
So.
And this one's 16.5 degrees too.
Oh, did I give you the 16.5? I gave you the wrong one.
Okay.
I want to try the 5-wood first. There's the 5-wood 18.
All right, and this is is this the tour one?
That is a Sub-Zero. That's not the tour only one. That's a stand. That's a Sub-Zero. You can get that one off the rack. These other ones are a little bit special for people with special needs.
Mike might fit that category. We'll see. We'll see momentarily.
California, where everything's played in the air. You're not rolling the ball up in green. You want to find clubs that maintain the proper carry gap. Just not be able to maintain the same increase in club head speed as they get to the long irons and start to get a little inefficient. For you,
That looked pretty good there.
That looked real good.
Felt good.
So if you look at that.
That one was sweet.
Especially if you're drawing.
Okay, come over here and look at these.
That was really good, that last one.
So the difference is, the thing about yours is you do get really, hello. You do get, I can come back to where it was. You get good ball speed with yours, but you do have a lot of backspin. Right? So launch angle is just good enough, and backspin's more than you need, but fast. Mine's not quite as fast. Launch angle's pretty same, 8.28, but I've got significant less backspin. So because of that, I'm typically going to get more distance. I get like 6 yards out of it more. And you can see here, like yours is the blue one, and then here is the purple one, is the one you're getting there.
Okay.
So, but seeing that, I mean, would I want to go lower than that? No. I mean, that's 18, so I don't want to go down to 16.5. That's as low as I would want it. Now, the thing about that shaft, it just happens to be one I pulled in that head. That happens to be a shaft that if the guys on tour that I fit tend to like the black Atmos in their driver, which is a stiffer tip version out of that family, they will usually go typically a little heavier and a little softer out of the same family with the fairwood. That just happens to be what that is. That's the blue, which is the slightly softer tip. Not soft by any means, but softer than the black one.
Okay.
And then it's a little bit heavier. So, and I would say at least that much loft, right? So that's probably got around 18.
I'm curious to try those pro ones though.
You can hit it.
Yeah, give it a try.
My feeling, I'm not,
Definitely.
you know, I wouldn't bet my life that I would probably hit the blue one.
The blue one?
The blue one, yeah, the black one's gonna go even lower. I wouldn't bet my life that it's gonna go lower, but it should, right? Because it's 16.5 and this is 18.
Okay.
But we'll see what it does. If
Well-
you hit it great, then that's fine.
What was the loft of your current 3-wood?
Current 3-wood is 16.5 the high launch.
Gotcha.
So this one's 16.5 also with the Atmos Tour Spec X8.
Okay.
That one felt really good.
Fix the path. Ooh, smoked it.
Felt
Fastest ball
good.
speed, really fast. 152. Might have spun a little. Not bad. 3,500.
So,
Mm.
good ones for ball
Yeah,
speeds
that
at
was good.
130.
256 on that one.
Thin hits in there. Ball speed drops to the low 120. So if we look at just the
What is it? You just want the one that's tour only? Is that
Yeah, I think that's what it
like
is.
somehow, even though it's technically a degree and a half less than I would have thought he needed, he just absolutely smokes the thing because he heard that only the tour pros get this one.
That's all it is. It's all a placebo.
Really good too.
Oh,
That's the one.
he likes it.
That's the one right there. Woo! Let's see those numbers.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. 2,800, 2,900.
Ooh.
I was a little bit low on the launch, but because you can get the spin down because it's fast, I mean, it's 257, 259. That's the miss hit, 260, 256. I mean, you're right around 260 and yours is 244. I mean, that's 16 yards difference. And you were hitting yours really, it's not like you were mishitting yours, you had really fast ball speed, it just has that 4,500 RPM spin. And this one knocked all the spin off of it.
So this is the shaft that you recommend because
I like this shaft when guys already like the black Atmos and the driver. I don't necessarily have a different shaft and then go to that immediately, but if I've already seen a guy with the black Atmos and likes it, this is a good way to match it up.
Is this a mid-flex shaft also?
Well, the black one is the stiffer tip.
Okay.
The blue is the mid-tip stiffness, and the red would be the softer tip. And what guys usually trying to do is they want essentially the shaft out of the same family, but two things they want to happen as they go from the driver shaft to the fairway shaft. They usually want the tip to play slightly less stiff because what they're trying to do is they're trying to hit off the ground, so a little dynamic lofting helps, and they usually want it heavier because they want the weight to cascade up through the set. So usually that means 10 or 12 grams heavier. It's off your tip version of the same family. That's what that is.
Okay.
That's the blue 8X. And the tour only 16.5 Sub-Zero head.
I just needed the tour only.
That's what it was. Your whole career, it's been that you haven't gotten tour equipment, and that's the problem.
There it is. 16 yards difference with the tour head and shaft. That combo feels amazing.
Yes.
So
AJ's gonna have to go up there.
hopefully AJ can pull.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to use one of my IOUs. Damn
Got a
it.
drawer with an IOU. Absolute drawer.
For sure.
So both 16.5 degrees though, you said, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
those
16 and a
title.
half degrees. I was getting 16 more yards on this one with this setting, and it just felt really good off the face. It had a lot less spin. Obviously, equated to 16.
1,000 RPMs.
Yes,
Spin.
it
And
equated-
immediately you hit it well.
Yeah, immediately. I mean, it wasn't even, you know, with the first swing, it just felt right. You know, he just fit me to the perfect setting right off the bat, and I think it was because he said it was a tour shaft. That's why. But you know, everything felt really good.
Yeah, the numbers were great.
Nice.
And I'm glad I almost didn't let you hit it.
I know. But he had to push. Mike had to push a little bit.
Please, can I hit the tour only? Oh, all right. All right, kiddo. Go ahead and hit the tour only.
He's like, I don't think it's gonna work.
And then he
but
just absolutely
maybe.
smoked it.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
turned out
16 yards increased in my 3-wood. I'm super happy with that, and I'm going to reach more par 5s in 2, and less David Toms.
Is it too nice out for you?
God, it's a lot of work out here getting fitted. Just trying to stay, you know, without getting some skin cancer. So just going to spray myself down, and we're good.
Oh, he's got a little X-Forged, I see.
okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so that's 23 with the ball, 24 with the ball speed, 11 degree launch, 5,900, 174. One thing, if you strengthen the lofts a degree, I would not do it on the pitching wedge because I don't want to pull the pitching wedge too far away from your higher lofted wedges, but I would 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Probably bump them down one. Kind of split the difference between that and the other head.
Is this the Nippon too?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Is everybody going into those shafts? That's a pretty hot shaft right now, right?
It's been pretty hot the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
It's been pretty.
That one felt good.
That was yes, very nice. 23, 12, 64, 171. Excellent.
Is that where we need to be?
That's where we need to be. You have arrived. On the carry. But good strike, good ball speed. Certainly higher launch angle all the way through. 12s and 12s and 11s and 12s and a couple of 13s. So
Okay.
definitely higher launch with that head. And pleasantly surprised that even with the higher launch and spin and the head that's one-piece forging compared to yours is a little bit more of a distance iron. This is the Pro model, which is the one-piece forging. It's usually a little slower off the face than that one. But you got good ball speed out of it and you really didn't give up much. You might give up on average 3 or 4 yards on two good, compared to good strikes with each of these. And that'd be fine. I don't mind 3 or 4 yards. I would have minded if you lost a full club. I would have thought it's not worth losing a club to bring your launch angle up a couple degrees. But half a club with a couple degrees and straight, that might be worth doing.
You're dealing with now, but it sounds like it's a hard
looks
for you to
nice.
hit a big hook with the driver. Like,
Felt good.
Yeah. You get along with.
I really like the shaft.
The characteristic of the flight generally looks the same. Your efficiencies are very good. You hit it solid. Launch angle is generally hard because of the head, and the launch and spin is consistent from shot to shot, and carry distances are very tight. So all the boxes are checked.
So I feel like I can't quite draw it as much either.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the lie angle.
All right, so we're going old school with the lie bore.
Take a little peek here.
We're gonna check out the lie angles on the 7-iron right here.
Yeah, so on the driver, we tried a couple different things. We went to a low spin head because we figured that was the right play, which would have been the Sub-Zero. Started with a 10.5. Started with the screw forward, which is the low launch, low spin setup in the screw position. And that had more ball speed than your current driver, which was great. It was about 2 miles an hour faster, but it was slightly low on the launch and spin side. We were talking, 10 degrees, 1800 RPM. It just wasn't staying in the air long enough, even though it was moving pretty fast. So I moved the screw to the back end of the club, didn't touch the loft. Launch and spin came up to perfect. It was like 11s and 12s at 22s and 2400, which was dead optimum. And I thought, let's try to raise the launch even a little more just for fun. So I raised the loft from 11.5 to 10.5, or 10.5 to 11.5. Launch and spin came up a little too much, and the face got more closed, and you didn't like that, started hitting it more crooked with more hook. So we went back down to 10.5, which ended up being a good setting. Then we tried Atmos Black to start. It turned out right off the bat that was really good. Tried a couple other options that didn't work as well. Tried the IZ, the Tour AD IZ, and that was a little bit squirrely. Ended up circling back to that. When we went to the fairway wood, we were trying to, yours launched well, good ball speed, spun a lot, spun 4,500 RPMs. So you're almost losing a little bit just to climb so much at the end of the flight based on the lift it was getting from the spin. So the goal was to try to find something that launched as high as yours but didn't spin as much, which we did with the 5-wood. And then I thought, well, I don't want to, that was an 18 degree with the Sub-Zero. And that was better, it spun less. And then you wanted to try the 16.5, which is the Tour only head, and I thought, it's going down a loft, I don't think we want to do that. And you said, well, let me try just in case, and then you absolutely ripped it. And it ended up being perfect parameters. You launched it plenty high, the spin was even lower yet. Ball speed went even higher than the 18 degree, and that was, gosh, I'm cherry picking a little bit, but you were probably averaging, you're a good 2 solid ones side by side, you were probably 14, 15 yards farther than your current 3-wood, but on average, probably 10, 12 pretty easily. So that ended up working really nice, and that was matched up with the blue Atmos, which was a little bit heavier, and the blue version is obviously a softer tip, which is basically what guys do in the fairway wood. They like a driver shaft, they go a little heavier and a little softer tip, and that's what we did with that shaft, and that worked nice. Utility iron, tried the 18, too low, just kind of a bullet, so we went to the 21, you hit that really well. We got that up in the air nice, and it had the right amount of draw, had the right amount of spin, ball speed was really good, you liked the feel of it. The only difference is we tried it with a PX, and we're going to put the knee pun in to match the rest of the irons, and that'll be great, you'll love that. With the irons, we were trying to get the launch angle up with shaft. It turns out we got the launch angle up pretty good with our first setting with the Aerotech steel fiber, but it was going more to the right, and so we tried to figure out a way by messing around with lie angle that we could try to get it back to the left to keep the launch angle up, but we couldn't keep the launch angle up. we ended up going to the X Forged iron, and my fear there was the launch and spin was going to come up, but would you give up a lot of distance when we added the launch and spin with the weaker loft? And you actually lost a little bit, not much. Like, I thought you were going to lose a club. You lost like 3 or 4 yards max. You launched it up in the air and spun it really well, but we found that the 1 degree flat lie angle was still a little bit to the right. So we pulled the lie angle back up to standard with the X Forged head, the blade. You hit it really solid. Ball speed was still high. Launch and spin was great, up around 12, and the spins were where I wanted to see them. And with the standard lie, because we did a lie board test just to see, and it looked like 1 degree flat was toe down. So we went to the standard lie, and it straightened out. And we decided to go 1 degree strong on the iron, lost everything but the pitching wedge, just to try to find a compromise between your iron with the stronger loft and the forged blade, which had the weaker loft. So kind of somewhere between. And the launch angle stayed pretty healthy spot. Spin came down 200 RPMs, but still great. And then that picked up another couple of yards in carry distance. So that worked out really nice. And then wedges, we were trying to replicate your Cleveland just because you love your Cleveland. It's your, that's not a Cleveland, right?
You know, it is.
It is a Cleveland. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was basically a 60, and the configuration on the sole was quite a bit of relief off the back end of the sole, but quite a bit of bounce on the front end of the sole. So a lot more leading edge bounce. So the replication of that for us would be our X grind. Tried the wide sole too. The X grind was better. It was more similar to what you like. And then we're going to put that one in there. We won't have an approach wedge matching the X Forged set. So we'll have 46 degrees in the pitching wedge. So we have to come up with another MD4 to fit in there. So we'll do that with a 52 standard sole. And then in the wedge shafts, we're going to go with something out of the Nippon Modus family, but the wedge specific shaft at about 125 grams, so it matches in there but a little bit heavier. And we're going to go a little flatter than standard lie, which is 64. We're going to make those all 63. We're going to throw a 64 degree in there as well, that also at 63. Matte black on the finish on those. And then we're going to do the blacked out New Decade all the way through the set except on the 60 where we'll put the +4, just because it's a little thicker under the right hand, and if you choke up on it, you have a little more feel doing that. I think that about covers it. That's most of the parameters of the fit. And I think that was a demonstrable, measurable improvement throughout the set. It'll be interesting to see whether your RMD wedge can work quite as good as your wedge because you like it so much. I think it could. But I think everything else was actually going to be demonstrably better. Launch and spin came up with the irons, a little more speed off the driver with good launch parameters. Improved 3-wood performance because we could keep the launch angle up and drop the spin. So a lot of good stuff happening there. So it'll be interesting to have you go play with them for a few rounds, give us some feedback, see if we need to tweak a little bit more, but I think you're going to have a good time with them. I think it's going to end up being a good fit for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for a great experience right here. Appreciate all your time and energy working on my swing.
My pleasure.
So thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
Pleasure to see you.
Yeah.
All right, so what they have out here, in addition to a driving range, is this putting green, which is 100 yards long. It's 300 feet, and we're gonna try to do a little closest to. We're gonna literally start on one end and go to the farthest pin, so we're gonna hit a 300-yard putt. Guess down in the comments below what score we make on this. All right, so I'm standing right out, so you guys can kind of see it, but I think as I get lower, you can see more undulation out there. There's definitely some big valleys in front of me, and there's even a pin. Here, let me zoom in. There's a pin over there. I mean, you could barely see the top of that pin. So you could already tell that one is going down at least a couple feet of drop. And that's not even the furthest. The furthest pins are out that way. And I'm about halfway on this thing. And as you can see on the other side, there's a huge valley right here. And there's Coach all the way over there with some balls. So it's gonna be a fun one.
All right, so this is like, it looks like, 300 feet. But it's got a huge bowl in the beginning that slopes left to right, and then it kind of bounces back with another slope right to left, and then it kind of flattens out at the end. So we're just gonna aim a little bit left of the pin and hopefully hit it hard enough to get it there.
All right, so we're gonna do one practice putt each, and then it's go time. So Coach is gonna start us off. He peppered that thing pretty hard, and you guys can see. Okay, so he's short, but that's actually a pretty good start. He's about, I'm gonna guess about 60 feet short on that one to the far pin. Yeah, about 60 feet short, but the putt coming up is not so bad. That's actually a pretty good leave, so he's gonna have a little left to righter, and I feel like he might be able to 3-putt that. This thing's coming through here with a little more speed than his last one. Yeah, a little better. Got it in the rough, but you guys can see, I mean, it's hard to get it out there. So here's the one that counts. And the pin that we're going to is straight ahead from here.
All right, we got Big Cat's first attempt. See how he does. Oh, he hit this one good. Oh, he ended up in the same spot as I did. Yeah, it's a tough one to get there. Oh, he pured that one. That one is good. All right, he's got that hill. Oh, he made it down the hill. All right, he's probably only got about 16, 17 feet left. That was pretty good.
All right, so instead of doing a claw on that bad boy, I went 10 finger to get about as much pop on that thing I could, and I pured it, so.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. I clawed it the whole time.
Yeah. All right, well, let's see how we finish up here. Just inside my ball. Coming in with some pace. Oh, that's gonna be long.
Yeah, this could be the greatest 2-putt of all time right here. Oh, good effort. All right, good 3-putt.
Oh, so close.
You got that one, Big Cat.
All right, now we're gonna go back, and I'll go first.
All right, double or nothing.
No practice putts. We know what's going on out here now. All right, so instead of going all the way to the end, we're gonna go almost to the end, but it's gonna be the far right one. So you got a bunch of rough in front of you. You can't go directly at this. It's basically a position hole. You gotta lay it up, make sure you don't go down the big hill, and maybe 2-putt, most likely 3-putt.
Oh, he hit the line really well, but it's leaking to the right in the rough. Oh, it's in the thick stuff. Oh no.
I didn't see that break.
Yeah, it sure didn't. It's gonna cost you. Oh no.
He followed me right on in there after talking so much smack. Real nice.
Oh my gosh, that was absolutely horrible. And that rough is so thick, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get it out.
These two are us right here. I think I'm the one that's in the back. Mike's a little further up, and should be fun.
Yeah, I think Marco is going to try and chip out and just get it in the, just get it on the green. You know, give himself a chance to 2-putt the next, you know, take his medicine. Oh no, he didn't. He just hit a great shot. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's unbelievable right there. Holy shit.
That was a right-handed chip shot, and that was the pin that we're going to. Boom. Oh, he skirted that thing out of there with some heat. It's going long. Sorry guys, bad camera work, but it is off the back of the green. It's all right. You can, he's got a chance. He's got a chance.
That was not good. Big Cat just delivered the biggest blow I've ever seen out of the rough. It was amazing. I can't believe he's gonna 3-putt that. It looks so good. Look at that. It's almost good too. All right, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed that fitting. It was a great experience with Nick. He did a fantastic job with me. He dialed me in on all my wedges, all my irons, and all my woods. Real big thanks to AJ and Callaway for having us out. Make sure to follow Callaway on Instagram, and make sure if you guys are liking these videos, subscribe to our channel, and hopefully you guys are having a great day.